You guys have put together cards through very unique circumstances in the past. I don't think anything would even compare to this.
No, nothing. I've never had such a hard time making a fight and getting a venue and keeping everything together.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything you can tell us in terms of just like what it took to put together this fight card that you just announced?
Yeah, I mean, it took, literally since this thing went down, we've been working every day, all day to get this done. I mean, we've been working nonstop, and it's literally the hardest thing I've ever tried to do.
You said that one challenge was that every 2 minutes the world's changing and
Right.
the challenges are changing. And I mean, we're getting close to April 18th, but we still got 12 days. Is there
Right.
anything that could happen that would nix this thing at this point?
I would never say no. I mean, I don't even know what is possible with this thing. If you'd have told me a month ago that Las Vegas would shut down and every casino would be closed for a month, I would never believe that. So anything is possible, but whatever obstacles pop up, we'll try to fix it, man. I'm going to tell you this. I'm this close to getting the deal done. So this place where this fight's going to be on April 18th, I have locked up for 2 months. So I'm going to continue to pump fights out. I've also secured an island. I've got an island. The infrastructure is being built right now. We're going to do all of our international fights on this island. So when we do this fight on April 18th, international and local, in the United States, we're going to start cranking. The UFC will be back up and running internationally and here in the States.
So April 18th, UFC 249. So literally April 25th, you could have an event.
We are. We're going back to back to back. We're getting back into our regular schedule. Mm-hmm. So we will have postponed 3 fights. We'll make all these fights up, and we'll be right back on schedule starting April 18th.
Do you feel like going through with this is a risk? Are you as a businessman taking a risk in this?
I'm ready to get back. I think a lot of other people are ready to get back. And I think right now what we need is, first of all, everybody's afraid to be first. Realistically, the only guy right now who isn't afraid is me and Vince McMahon. I mean, Vince McMahon hasn't skipped a beat. Mm-hmm. But what he did was he found solutions. He found ways to get rid of the crowd, and I'm sure he's doing everything in his power too, mm-hmm. to make sure that his guys are safe. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is afraid to be first. Right now, we need leadership. We need people that are going to go out and find solutions. Mm-hmm. Hiding in your house is not an answer. I get it. We have to do it. The CDC, we followed everything that the CDC has said, right? Mm-hmm. But at what point do you start to get back to normal? You keep people in their houses for too long with no entertainment, people are going to start losing their minds. Mm-hmm. And we need to start figuring out solutions. And that's what we're doing. We're going to do this. We're going to keep everybody safe, and we're going to pull this thing off. We're going to make it happen.
And you may have spoke to it there a little bit, but what really is, and maybe I'm sure that there's several aspects of it, but what is the motivation to do this, Dana? Like, it would have been easier for you to just, I think, sit back and say, we're going to let the world play out, and then when it gets to a better place, then we'll figure out a way to resume. You have been very bullish in forcing this to happen, even when challenges have come up. So why are you doing this?
Because I think you have to. First of all, sports need to happen. It needs to happen. We need to figure out the solutions. How do you make this safe and let it go on? That's what the whole world needs to do. Mm-hmm. What, are kids never going to go back to school? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm here in California. The governor of California came out yesterday and said NFL will not start in September in California. Yeah. What does that mean for school? Mm-hmm. There's just so many different things that trickle down. This is sad, and we're going way off base here, mm-hmm. but there's a lot of kids in cities that only eat when they go to school. Yeah. What's happening to those people? Mm-hmm. What's happening to all the people that have lost their jobs? What are the answers? How do we fix this, and how do we get back to normal? Mm-hmm. And in my own little world, I'm just trying to figure that out for me. Mm-hmm. My kids have been in the house and haven't been out and haven't been hanging out with their friends or doing any of that stuff. We've stayed inside like we're supposed to, other than coming back and forth to the office for things that I need. We've done everything that the CDC and the government has asked us to do.
What are some of the other ways that it impacts your business? Can you give us sort of, and I'm sure that this could be a long answer, but can you sum it up for us? I mean, you're losing gates, You're like the transportation
just-
of people.
but-
Like,
but-
how is this going to affect your business?
But there's really, it's not about that. Everybody is. The NFL is going to lose gates. The NBA is going to lose gates. All this stuff's going to happen. And when people look at me and they're like, "Oh, this guy's just doing this because he's money hungry," I don't need the money. I didn't need the money 4 years ago. I could have left. I could have left and been gone. And when people say that I'm trying to, this is all about money, I got a great house. I can do this for the next 5 years if they want to, and I have the money. This isn't about money. It's never been about the money for me. I believe that, at some point we have to move forward. And the answer isn't, we need to stay in our houses till September. That's not a possibility. I just don't think that's a reality it's not going to happen. People aren't going to stay in their houses till September. So how do we figure out solutions? And maybe in my own little world here, if I can make this happen and pull this off and everybody is safe. I already did it once. Vince has been doing it. And we're going to do it again on April 18th. Then maybe other leagues will, start looking at it and going, well, how do we do this too?
Can you share at all some of the conversations that you may have had with fighters? And one thing that I've seen, a point being made, and some people would agree with it, some wouldn't, but these are elite fights. I mean, these are fights that we've been waiting for a while. I mean, you put together fights that determine the best fighters in the world, and if these guys are training in their garages, are we going to see the same quality of fights that we're used to?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm not sure, but that's something that they need to do right now. I mean, that's a reality of this situation. You need to figure out how to train. You can't have a bunch of training partners. You got to have a guy who's been screened and is healthy. But I don't know. That remains to be seen. The fights in Brazil were awesome.
Yeah. How about transport? How are you planning on getting these fighters to your secret location?
So what we're going to do is we're going to get the fighters somewhere, and we're going to bring them to this location. They won't know where they're headed to.
Okay. Like maybe they'll collect geographically, like if some of them are closer.
Yeah, we're
together,
working on it. We're working on it right now. But there's going to be, definitely some planes involved and things like that, especially for this island when we pull off the island.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.